Okay, so this is our first video. There's going to be some review in the P chapter before we even get to chapter 1, but we have time that we can review some things. We have to find a place where we can all start and feel comfortable. So some of this will be review for a lot of you. Maybe it's been a while since you've done some math. Hopefully it'll help kind of get things going. So we're going to be talking about algebraic expressions. And algebraic expressions have numbers and letters in them and operation symbols. So maybe we have something like 3a plus 2b. That would be an algebraic expression. Or maybe we have something like 5x squared. That would be a different algebraic expression. But you can have operations, you can have numbers, you can have variables. Variables are the unknowns. They're the things we don't know. So maybe we use x and y, or maybe we use a and b and c. If we want to use Greek letters like alpha or beta, those are a lot of times used in geometry, which we probably won't be doing a lot of geometry, but we have the Greek letters we can use as well. But anything that represents an unknown, and usually we use letters to do that. Now, just one thing about variables. When we say a and we have a lowercase a, we mean it that way. So try not to make it a capital A because that would be a different variable. Okay, so sometimes I have students that they only like to make, uppercase letters, but it makes a difference, especially if you're going to be taking science classes. They get really picky about that type of thing. Okay, so now we want to talk about exponential notation. So maybe we have something like 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. We could write that as 5 to the exponent of 4, or sometimes we say the power of 4, so we call that an exponent. Or maybe we say 5 to the 4th power, something like that. But that's what it means. So when you have something like n cubed, and maybe n equals 2, then you're talking about 2 cubed, which means 2 times 2 times 2. I'm just using a dot for multiplication here. You can use parentheses, or we don't generally use the x in math, but again, in scientific notation, we might use the x. But that means 2 times 2 times 2, which in fact is 8. So we have to be careful when we use exponential notation to make sure that we're getting that multiplication in. Evaluating expressions. Well, that's when we have an expression like, I think we had something like 4ab, which means 4 times a times b, and that's how we write it in math. But then they give us values like a equals 5 and b equals -2. So then we would say we can evaluate this expression. We can replace a with 5 and b with -2. Sometimes we call that substitution. Okay, so we're substituting a value for another value that we know is equivalent. Okay, or in this case for the variable. All right, and then we can just do that multiplying. We could go 4 times 5 is 20 times -2, which would be -40. We want to make sure we write that -2 in parentheses to indicate multiplication. We don't want it to look like subtracting 2. We want to make sure we have the parentheses here so it looks like 4 times 5 and not 45. You get different answers. So we're picky about how we write things because it makes a difference in how we do calculations. Okay, so that's our first video and we're just getting started.